My name is Mitchell Simpson. I'm currently undertaking a Bachelor of Sport Management at the University of Canberra. This presentation will be in accordance with the subjects Business, Politics and Sport. My presentation will outline the relationship between junior sport, local councils and the Australian Sports Commission at a federal level. Firstly, my presentation will focus on the topic of the unveiling of the 2009 Crawford Report and how this has changed administrative duties and the national sports policy on junior sport by the Australian Sports Commission. Secondly, my focus will be on local councils and how their funding and support, or lack of, is affecting junior sport at a local level and how this is affecting the future stars of Australian sport. Finally, my presentation will look at the crossover of local councils among different sporting communities and competitions and how the political game can greatly affect on junior sporting competitions and ultimately junior sport in Australia. Findings of the 2009 Crawford Report on investing in the future of sport stated that there is significant capacity for improved coordination in the allocation of government funds between agencies and levels of government. This basically means that the federal government, in particular the Australian Sports Commission, needs to work and coordinate better with local council to improve junior sport, which in turn will improve Australia's elite sporting success. Another one of the findings of the Crawford Report was that previous government support to sport was mainly focused on the funding to the elite level sport, and clear focus was on winning medals in Olympic and Commonwealth Games. This ultimately led to sport being underfunded and neglected at a community level, which I have stated before as being an integral part to professional sport in Australia. The statement that there is a strong correlation between international sporting success and public funding for sport is an important finding of the Crawford Report, as it clearly shows the importance that local sport has within the professional sporting community. The report found that countries such as France, Germany, the United Kingdom and many other countries that all have large populations are putting in large contributions toward their elite sport programs, yet smaller countries such as Jamaica are taking in more medals in elite competitions. There is obviously a clear need for a national program in which all tiers of government, as well as independent agencies and community stakeholders, have the same views, goals and motives regarding the handling and development of junior sport in Australia. Although the Australian Sports Commission post-Crawford Report has clear objectives to improve junior sport and ultimately improve Australia's elite talent pool, there is an apparent breakdown at the bottom or local sport level, which I'll explain in depth later in this presentation. According to the 2009 Crawford Report, the Australian Sports Commission and all state and territory departments of sport and recreation have the basic same objectives. They are to perform well at an elite level and increase participation. There is, however, no overarching strategy and very little coordination of this, and this is basically the reason that there is a breakdown of national objectives at a local and junior level. The Crawford Report also suggests that because a national sport framework would require the coordination of all tiers of government, that it would be advantageous for the Australian Government, through the Council of Australian Governments, to include the government membership in the Sport and Recreation Ministers' Council. This would create a key link and feedback avenue between national policies and the implementation of them at the bottom level of sport. As I have previously stated, junior sport is the key foundation of success at the highest level, as all professional sports people begin their careers as junior athletes. Local councils play an active role in the delivery and development of local sport in their jurisdiction and thus play a key part in the infrastructure chain that is Australian sport. An interview with Mark Simpson, a key stakeholder of local sport in the Shellharbour City Council district, as a long-term coach of junior and senior sport, as well as a board member of a local club, clearly laid out the relationship of junior sport and local council in his area. As head coach of the Illawarra Academy of Sport cricket program, he had quite a direct view on the inflow and outflow of funding received by local council, with the Illawarra Academy of Sport drawing funds from the Shellharbour, Wollongong, Shoalhaven and Wingecarribee district councils. The chairman of the Illawarra Academy of Sport was also the general manager for Shellharbour District Council, and he did much lobbying was done by him in order to receive continued funding from local councils, and he was able to ensure continued support to the various Illawarra Academy Sport elite junior sporting programs. The Academy also receives funding from bodies such as Cricket New South Wales and the Department of Sport and Recreation. This, along with the council funding, enables the Academy to provide a program for talented juniors from the region to participate in elite training and offers a key stepping stone from junior sport to senior elite levels of competition. Another key aspect of the interview saw Simpson talk about the struggles of the Shellharbour City Council to provide consistent funding across the whole region and a wide range of sports and facilities. As the Shellharbour region has a huge range of sports and an ever-growing population, the need for extended sporting facilities is difficult for the council and community to agree on a suitable course of action. Simpson stated that, with a lack of council funding being an issue in the expansion of sporting facilities, the onus will be put back on the clubs for funding and support and will ultimately filter down to the families participating in their respective sports. This shows a glaring gap in the Australian Sports Commission's priority of support in junior sport post-Crawford report and the reality of its execution. Clubs and the community alike are turning towards funding from independent sources like the Oak Flats Cricket Club, who Simpson is club coach and secretary of, who recently received a $42,000 grant to upgrade their turf wicket facilities off the Community Building Partnership Program, which is a private sector of the New South Wales Government. Simpson explains that the harsh reality of the current situation of local sport in the Shellharbour region is that sport is becoming a user-pay system where families are being forced to pay more and more for their kids to participate in junior sport. Ultimately, this is causing the sports to suffer as participation numbers are dropping and will eventually cause Australian sport at an elite level to suffer. This small interview clearly shows how the federal government needs to use the Crawford Report's findings and suggestions in order to take control of the sports infrastructure at all levels in Australia to allow a coordinated and ultimately successful junior sport program this country needs in order to excel at the top level. Quite often, junior sporting competitions extend over the borders or jurisdictions of neighbouring councils, and the clubs or competitors, although in the same competition, can often have quite varying backgrounds to their sport. I will use an example from a guest lecturer by Greg Doyle at the University of Canberra about the Central Coast Surf Life Saving competitions and how it overlaps between the Wyong Council and the Gosford City Council. Many surf life-saving clubhouses and/or facilities in the area were quite dilapidated and were in obvious need for an upgrade. As the Terrigal Surf Lifesaving Club had recently got an upgrade to a multi-purpose facility, it shined as the benchmark of the community. Doyle explained how he was a part of the Central Coast Beach Management Group, and he helped lobby and look into getting more clubs in the region built or upgraded. It resulted in the Gosford City Council creating a needs assessment plan for club facility upgrades along the coast, and eventually a $10 million surf club upgrade package for the region was passed. As the Central Coast region is an area that is highly contested by Labor and Liberal political parties, it is quite often an investment in local sport that is seen as a good opportunity to win votes and support. However, the Wyong Council shares a comparatively lower socio-economic status than that of its neighbours Gosford, did not support Doyle's idea and plan to do a similar needs assessment plan of the surf clubs in their council region. Doyle then explained how he used the idea of political popularity to persuade the Wyong Council to do a needs assessment plan of the area, and as Doyle quoted, the rest became history, with the Wyong Council developing plans to upgrade the region's surf life-saving facilities. Now, after all this boils down, the political game that councils play is ultimately a ploy for votes and support. And on this occasion, junior sport in the area became a beneficiary of the outcome. Yet, if not for the political pressure placed on the Wyong Council, the Central Coast Surf Life-Saving competition may have seen a large gap in the opportunities for junior athletes between the two council regions. Overall, this presentation aimed to show how the local council plays a huge role in the development and delivery of junior sport at a local level, and how this can positively or negatively affect certain clubs or sports. It also showed how the Australian Sports Commission is changing its priorities towards the improved support towards junior sport in Australia, yet after the 2009 Crawford Report's findings and real-life case studies, it showed how there is still a long way in the development of a national junior sport framework in Australia. Thank you for your time.